So you want to become an ethical hacker, a bug bounty hunter, or a penetration tester, just something in the field of cybersecurity, but you're having a little bit of trouble getting that fire or flame going. So that's what we're going to talk about in this video. And so I really want to start out with a story or a lesson that my son actually taught me a few days ago. He is really interested in Pokemon. Actually, at this point, I've already tried recording this video and he has come in now twice to ask me to play the Pokemon game or get a new Pokemon card. It's just something that he is totally obsessed with. If you know anything about Pokemon, you have to be able to read in order to play the game, but he really wanted to learn how to play the game. He's only 5 years old, and so he is not able to read yet.
That sign can't stop me because I can't read.
But he really wanted to learn. So what he did was he walks around all day with at least one of our 5 Pokemon decks in his hand with a card out of the deck in his hand. And so whenever he goes anywhere, if somebody asks what he has, he'll hand him the card and say, "It's a Pokemon card. Will you read it?" And who's going to say no to a 5-year-old asking them to read a Pokemon card? So they'll read the card to him, they'll tell him what it does, and once they've gotten done explaining it to him, he will stare at that card for about 10 seconds. It's as though he is downloading all of the information that they had just told him about this card into his brain. What he has done over the past 3 weeks is memorized every card to every deck that we have bought, to the point that now me and him can go and play these Pokemon games and he does not need to be able to read. And the lesson I pulled away from this is he is absolutely and totally obsessed with Pokemon to the point that there was nothing going to stop him from learning how to play this game. I realized in him, I have that same exact trait. When I leave my house and I'm away from my computer, that doesn't mean that I just automatically shut down everything in my brain about cybersecurity. I'm usually still thinking about some kind of CTF that I had recently been doing and I want to figure out how to exploit it, or some kind of code that I've been writing that I can't get to work the way I want to, or maybe somebody has asked me a question and I'm trying to figure out the best way to answer their question. It is something that I have become obsessed with to the point that when I leave my house, it's still something that I'm thinking about. Or often if I'm driving my car somewhere, I'm usually still thinking about cybersecurity or something related to it. It reminded me of my son. He is always thinking about Pokemon and talking about Pokemon, and I just am obsessed with something a little bit different to the point that there was nothing going to be able to stop me from learning it. And now the question you have probably been waiting for: how do you become obsessed with cybersecurity so that you can make this a passion as well as a career? Well, I kind of want to just share my own little journey and how it worked for me and how I became obsessed with cybersecurity, so that way maybe it will work for you, and along the way you can test to see if it's something that you're really interested in. For me, I wanted to learn how to program because I thought that it would be really cool. I wasn't really focused on the security side of things at this point until I started freelancing and I realized I needed to be able to create secure web applications. And so for me, I started out with wanting to learn how to program, and maybe you don't want to know how to program and that's just fine. You can skip that step, then move on to watching videos on YouTube. So when I was writing code, I actually just started watching ethical hacking or penetration testing videos just to see how exploits work in different scenarios. And this was really interesting to me. It's kind of like just turning on Netflix and watching TV, only I was turning on YouTube and I was watching people pull off different exploits. And so maybe for you, that's something you should do as well. And so you're off to a really good start if you are watching this video to see if you're interested in it. You can go and watch videos of people pulling off exploits and see if it is interesting to you. If it is, then maybe install Kali Linux and see if you can exploit some of those exact same vulnerabilities, open up the same CTFs, and try to walk through the different vulnerabilities to see if you can get them to work as well. And at this point, once you've downloaded Kali Linux and you're trying to pull off exploits, you're going to know if it's something you're genuinely interested in, as well as watching the videos for your entertainment and trying to pull off different exploits. So kind of a summary to this video: you're going to need to be obsessed with cybersecurity because the field is always changing and evolving. Because this is a tech industry, you're going to need to be interested enough to continue learning and changing your interests along with the field as it changes. And a good way to find out if you're interested in the field is just to turn on YouTube and watch a bunch of different cybersecurity videos and see if they hold your attention. And then from there, move on to actually trying to download Kali Linux and play around with different vulnerabilities and exploits. And don't worry about wasting time or trying to build it into a career. Right now, you just need to have fun and turn it into an obsession that will later evolve into a career. And you'll know it's an obsession when all of your friends around you tell you that they are tired of hearing you talk about cybersecurity or some new vulnerability or hack that just happened somewhere in the world. And if you think you have any additional tips that would be helpful for the rest of us in the community, please leave them down in the comments below. And as always, thanks for watching.